Right now on 10 News at 3, federal immigration enforcement continues to crack down on people in Tennessee illegally. But today, we hear about a group supporting the children and families going through the immigration process.
And good afternoon. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Coming up in a moment, we're going to show you scattered showers heading in our direction. Got some sunshine right now, but a cold front bringing a chance for scattered showers this evening early on. We'll have your full forecast next.
Plus, you have just one more day to early vote. We are looking at the uptick in voter participation in one East Tennessee county, set to replace a longtime mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to 10 News at 3, streaming on WBIR+. I'm Robin Wilhoit. We begin with three of the day's top stories. New this hour, a Knox County grand jury indicted a man in connection to a crash that killed a couple back in 2024. According to court records, Brent Morgan crashed into a car in December of that year, killing Jeffrey Wilkerson Jr. and Carly Williams. The grand jury indicted Morgan on 2 counts of vehicular homicide, 1 count of vehicular assault, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment. We have more details on the crash and the indictment right now at WBIR.com. A man from Florida is in jail after Knoxville police found him with suspicious items, including law enforcement clothing and folders. Knoxville police stopped Cody Strasburger for a broken brake light last night on Island Home Avenue in South Knoxville. Officers noticed he was taking pictures of a home. A canine then alerted them to the smell of drugs in his car, and that's when police searched it. They found clothes, weapons, and marijuana. You can find a full list of the items they discovered right now at WBIR.com.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just
Well, several Tennessee artists newly inducted into the Musician Hall of Fame, including East Tennessee's very own Dolly Parton right there. Other artists included Keith Urban, Dan Huff, and George Thorogood and the Destroyers. The Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum honors all musicians, regardless of genre or instruments. So congrats to each and every one of them. And with that, we want to turn to your forecast as we hit hump day of this work week. Meteorologist Todd House hanging out at the monitor for us.
Yeah.
We've got some showers out there. I went out to early vote. Yes. Came back in and I felt a few sprinkles coming in.
A little bit of light mist and some sprinkles, light precipitation. Yeah, not a lot so far today, Robin. We even have a little bit of sunshine right now, but we do have scattered showers heading our way. We'll talk more about that coming right up. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Good afternoon to you. Let's take you live to our downtown Knoxville camera. We're seeing some peaks of blue skies, some sunshine with clouds, and the clouds moving through pretty quickly. We've got a surface cold front that's moving in. So here's what we're seeing right now. 73 degrees. Notice the winds west-southwest 11 miles per hour. Pressure falling. Dew point 63 degrees. Low to mid 60s. So we've got some humid air. Not a lot of moisture, not a lot of precipitation, I should say, earlier today. But now we're seeing a cold front that's moving in. We got a little bit of warmer air ahead of the front in the low to mid 70s and upper 60s behind that front that will be moving in later this evening. So here's a look at satellite and radar. Again, we're finally seeing some of that band of scattered showers. A high-res model showing that, yeah, right on cue. Here we are at 3 o'clock. This is about the time they were showing we could see some showers, even a chance for a few spotty thunderstorms. So let's talk about what we're seeing just on radar, and we'll zoom on in. We are seeing some of these spotty downpours making the way from around Coalfield and Morgan County, just south of east of Wartburg, up into Anderson County, Rocky Top, Norris, Andersonville, on up into Union County. Over the last couple of hours, again, these scattered showers are continuing to develop. These are just ahead of a cold front, and these are expected to pass through basically over the next 2 hours. Between right now and about 5 p.m., next 2 hours, we'll have a chance for more of these scattered showers. So here's a look at our high-res model forecast, and again, watch the timeline here. Coming up at 4 p.m., this is going to be tracking through our region. And again, we'll have a chance for not only scattered showers, maybe a few spotty thunderstorms and a few isolated strong storms possible. This is 5 p.m. They're moving south and east of Knoxville toward the mountains. And then later after 6 p.m., we're seeing those moving on out. Look for a clearing sky late tonight into our Thursday, and it's going to be cooler with high temperatures in the 60s over the next couple of days. All right, so that's what we're seeing in the coming days. We'll talk much more about that extended forecast, including those cooler temperatures heading our way. Robin?
Okay, Todd, you and we talk about this a lot. My husband
Right.
is very in tune to the rain.
Yes.
And dry conditions.
Right.
The rain that we've gotten over the last couple of days, though, anywhere near, it's not a drought buster.
It's not a drought buster, but I tell you what,
Okay.
it
They'll be
definitely,
bummed.
yeah, the grass, the trees, everything received it though, and everything greened up remarkably.
Right.
That shows you how dry it's been, how much we need the rain. So everything responded, got about an inch or so that's good. We need a lot more events like that. Now tell Brent that there's a slight chance late Friday night, early Saturday
he'll be
morning.
happy to hear
Go ahead
that.
and tell him, looking ahead to next week, we got a good pattern, cooler and a little bit wetter, a little bit more unsettled pattern as we move into May. And so, yeah, the chances are better over the next couple weeks, actually.
So maybe not as much April showers, but maybe more May showers.
More May showers and May flowers. Get a 2-for-1. How about that?
We'll take it, Todd.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you. We'll see you a little later on 10 News. All right, well, tomorrow is the last day to early vote. We have been talking a lot about the big races in Knox County, but plenty others are getting voters to the polls all across East Tennessee. Some key races in Blount County, also in Sevier County, driving a strong turnout. Reporter Libby Cunningham joining us in the studio because this is your story of the day. You have really gotten an idea of how turnout is in both of those counties. So let's go ahead and launch into Blount County. What races are you keeping an eye on there?
So in Blount County, the big race is for Blount County mayor. So we have, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to look, guys. I'm
You
so
can
sorry.
look at me.
I'll look at you.
Come look at me.
The big race is for Blount County mayor. So Mayor Ed Mitchell has been there for years, 16 years. He is not running for re-election.
He has been there that long.
He's been there for a long
Yes.
time. We've got 6 guys who are running for the seat, 1 Democrat, 5 Republicans. The Republicans that are running range from a state representative to people who've been on commission before to one of the assistant principals at Maryville High School, to people who are currently, you're taking a look right now on council. We also have Brian Thompson. He is the Democratic candidate. So I was at the Blount County Library today, and there were so many people coming in and out to early vote. The man who's in charge of that location told me they've had about 3,100 people there. He also was at the Pellissippi location for a couple of early voting days, about 1,100 people there, almost 7,000 people as of yesterday at 6 p.m. Those are going to be our most recent numbers, have early voted in Blount County.
And they have one more day tomorrow,
They have
the
one more
last
day to early vote.
But clearly, with this seat being very attractive and a lot of names out there, that is definitely getting people to the polls to vote.
That's what someone with their election office told me is, we haven't really had this many candidates for this position in quite some time. People have some choices to make this time that maybe they didn't have to make in other primary elections. And because we have more people running, you're just going to see more signs and more advertisements, right? So
Exactly.
getting people interested to go to the polls. I spoke to a veteran who was there voting, said it was very important for everyone to make sure that they are engaging in their rights. And I also spoke to someone who said, hey, this primary election is really where we get to choose our candidates. Now, the mayor's election in Blount County is going to take place in August.
Okay. Let's talk about Sevier County. You checked out the numbers there as well.
Yes, I
What'd you
did. And let
see?
me take a look
Yeah,
at my
go ahead.
numbers here. I contacted their election commission. I got so much help from them today, too. They're just super duper busy.
Yeah.
So there are 72,000 people, almost 73,000 people registered to vote in Sevier County. So far, a little bit over 5,700 have casted early voting ballots there. There's also a mayor's race up there.
And their mayor has been there a very long
Yes.
time as well. Okay, I wanted to share about my early voting experience.
Sure.
I went today
Okay.
to one of the 11 early voting locations here in Knox County. I timed myself. Getting out of my car, going and vote, and getting back into my car, 7 minutes.
Wow.
It's super easy. So I encourage people, if
Sure.
you aren't able to get to Election Day next Monday or next Tuesday, that's May 5th, then you do have today and tomorrow.
And
Yeah.
what's so nice about early voting that they were telling me today, and a lot of people were saying too, is that it's not just you have to go to your precinct. You can go to whatever place is open. So if you're going to the Blount County Public Library, there's parking right there. They have a bathroom. They have all the things that just make it a little bit easier on people. I saw people with their kids like, hey, let's pop into the library and entertain them as well. So
Absolutely.
we met some super sweet voters and viewers. It was really fun
Yeah,
to be out
and,
there.
and in talking with people in both Blount and Sevier, did you get the sense that they're encouraged then, just seeing this uptick in voters?
They are, definitely. I mean, it's really important for them to get people engaged in the civics process, right? And even though this is not a federal election, these local elections are what are going to affect us every single day.
Absolutely. Well said. All right. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you. When we come back, or actually you can watch the Blount County mayors. They are streaming interviews with them, each and every one of them streaming right now on WBIR Plus. When we come back, we turn to immigration here in East Tennessee. The group in Knox County going every week to an ICE office in West Knoxville to support the people going through the process to stay in this country. That story coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back to 10 News at 3, streaming on WBIR Plus. A group of volunteers in East Tennessee showing up for the immigrant community. Each week they gather outside an ICE office, offering people going through the process of trying to stay in this country support, a smile, and for the kids, something to snuggle. I sat down with 10 News reporter Olivia Day earlier today to talk about Weekly Witness. Olivia, thank you for taking a few minutes to pop in the podcast room to talk about Weekly Witness. Tell us more about this mission, if you will.
Yeah, so it is a group of volunteers that feel passionate about supporting people in West Knoxville who are attending immigration appointments at the DHS office. It is just the DHS office itself visiting today. It's interesting. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac in West Knoxville, off Parkside Drive, just kind of in the middle of all of those doctor's offices and all those types of things.
It's kind of an industrial park almost feel.
There's no signage on the door except for things that are like taped on the door, but there's no big sign that says ICE office. But today I went there, and every Wednesday there is a group that sets out a tent, holds some signs, and they just really want to be welcoming of the people that are coming in and out of the office, and they're checking in on them. They have coffee and snacks, and waters, but they're also providing, usually there's someone there that speaks Spanish. They're providing resources sometimes like, legal help, some immigration lawyers are sometimes there, just different resources. But really the hope is to provide comfort for people that are walking into that office that may not know if they're going to come walking back out through those doors.
Yes, just to make the point, there is a lot of fear amongst immigrants throughout the country, if you will, who are going through the process of hopefully staying, and they hope to stay in this country. How did this group start?
Yeah, so I learned today that it started with the bean station raids that happened in Hamblin County a while ago, where lots of people were picked up from a meat packing plant. And it's kind of continued on since then, but there is a faith leader in the Catholic Church named Charles Mulligan, and he has kind of kept this mission alive. So they have kind of people that come in every single Wednesday, and some of them are faith leaders, some of them are not religious, some people are just wanting to volunteer. They're part of other different organizations like Indivisible, Knoxville, and those types of things. But really, it's a bunch of people with a bunch of different backgrounds, and their goal is to provide comfort for people that are going through. And also, they told me today that they want ICE to know that someone is watching, that someone is keeping tabs on these people today.
Accountability. Yes,
accountability. They were tallying how many people walked in, men, women, and children, and how many people walk out.
Okay, this volunteer who you spoke with, Charles, is that his name?
So I didn't get to talk to Charles today.
Okay.
I'm talking to him later.
Okay.
But I did get to talk to a volunteer that was there.
Let's talk about that volunteer's experience with this group and so maybe a story or an experience they have had being a part of it.
Yeah, so I got to talk with a really amazing volunteer who has been doing this for a year. And the reason I say she's so amazing is because she's helping the children that are coming in and out of these facilities. She says oftentimes they are scared, they're uncertain, they don't know what's happening. And she showed me, and you'll get to see later if you watch 10 News at 5, she has a trunk full of toys, stuffed animals, little race cars, different things like that, so that those children have something to kind of hold on to as they're walking in and out of those ICE facilities. And today she said that there were 2 little girls that she gave some toys to as they were walking in. But that woman also said that same day that I was here, so earlier today, there was a woman who was in tears walking into the office, saying that she was scared and uncertain of what the future kind of held for her. But she also came out in tears of relief, tears of, okay, I get to go back to my family and go back to work and do those types of things. But listening to them today, these volunteers say it's a very emotional and personal thing that they're trying to help these people do.
And talk more about this group of volunteers. You definitely alluded to it. It's open to everyone. There is a faith component to this, but it's broader than that, correct?
Yeah, it is a bunch of people that just kind of have the same goal of what they say is just loving their neighbors. The sign that these people were holding today said, "Stop deporting our neighbors." And I think that doing these types of stories about immigration, there are lots of people in the community that do feel like what's happening is wrong because they know the people that it's happening to. It's their neighbors, it's their members of the church congregation. It's people that are helping work in their communities, whether that be in construction businesses or landscaping businesses or helping in restaurants, even, teaching and all these different types of things that these people are doing in their communities. The message from this group is that they want these people to stay in our communities.
So if someone is watching this, listening to this, and they want to be a part of Weekly Witness, what can they do? Who do they need to reach out to?
Yeah, so I'm going to get more information from Charles later today about how people can kind of help and get involved. But I know that part of it is you can just show up on Wednesdays, but we will have more information on our website later today.
So be sure to tune in to 10 News at 5 and 6.
At 4 and 5.
4 and 5, okay. And of course, always on WBIR.com.
Yep, it'll be on our website as well. We'll post, on Facebook and on our website.
All right, Olivia, thank you. And you are watching WBIR 10 News at 3, streaming on WBIR Plus. Lots of sports to get to. Emily Ray Cochran joining us right after this. Stay with us. Knoxville's professional soccer team is still hot of a historic win over DC's major league team. The coach of One Knox SC sat down with our 10 Sports reporter Emily Ray Cochran to talk about the moment for that team. The full conversation streaming on WBIR+, but here's a snippet. Take a look.
This has been such an exciting week for this club. Not only did you play your first MLS team, but you guys were able to beat DC United. How special was that moment, and what were the emotions following the win?
Yeah, a memorable night for sure. Not only for myself and for the individuals, but for the club overall. You know, it's a relatively young club, and to go up to such a historic franchise like DC United and come out on top was special. Not to mention that we're in the last 16 of the competition, and we take that very seriously, and we're not done yet.
Look how I get to hang out with this afternoon.
This is so fun.
I know.
Best day ever.
Well, talk about fun. Interviewing him, that was a good get.
He was such an amazing person to talk to. I don't think we've ever done a sit down with him, and you know, it's cool when they have such big moments and such historic moments that we have an opportunity to sit down and learn more about it.
No doubt about it. So talk about just this team in general. It has been so much fun to watch them through the years, especially these last couple of years.
Well, Ian Fuller, the head coach, his first season was in last year, and they go on to win the USL League One championship in his first year as a head coach.
Right.
So since he's gotten here, I feel like the culture has shifted. The guys, I went to practice the other day, they are just so in awe of him and his coaching style, and they listen to him, and it's just cool because a lot of them are also international players as well, so they're away from their families. A lot of them have families here who they have brought to Knoxville, and they've all been able to call Knoxville a home, and I feel like that really translates when they're playing and making history on the field.
I had the opportunity to go to a few games last year. Hope to get out there this year, but it is such a community.
It really
there is such a vibe and community around this team. They even had this like fun little band out there beating their drums and everything.
They travel actually when they go to
that.
So they were just in I guess in DC to play DC United. That was awesome, and now I think they're going to also be traveling to Columbus when they play in that match tonight as well.
Okay. So let's talk about going forward now. They've done some big things in action tonight.
So it's the U.S. Open Cup. It's the round of 16, so it's kind of like the NCAA tournament. But the difference is the difference is they're playing their regular season during all of these other tournaments, so they don't really have like an off break. So I asked him about it. I was like, how do you manage that in your schedule? Because it's almost like they have their regular season, and if I were to compare it to the SEC, it's like they're playing their SEC championship tournament in the same and their NCAA tournament all in the same time span. So it's very interesting the way they're able to shift focus.
Right.
And they never want to say one matchup is more important than another. But obviously this is the U.S. Open Cup. This is the furthest they've ever made it in the U.S. Open Cup. So they want to win bad. It would be their second time beating an MLS opponent. Obviously that last time was DC United. That was their first time ever playing a Major League Soccer team as well.
And that's very rarely happened.
Only the third time ever that a USL League One team has beaten an MLS team. And then I'm pretty sure if they beat Columbus Crew tonight, it would only be the second time a USL League One team has made it to the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. So a lot of history to be made in Columbus tonight if they can pull it off.
Okay, well, let's pivot now to golf. Well, you've got some news coming up later today on 10 News. What's going on?
So excited. We talked to Tennessee women's golf. They're fresh off of an SEC championship, the first in program history. Got to speak with their head coach. She's amazing. She's a former Lady Vol, and our conversation was really special. She talked about just the way Knoxville pours into women's sports, unlike any other. She had an opportunity to throw the first pitch out at the softball game the other day, have a chance to talk with Karen Weekly and build that Lady Vol coaching bond. And we're going to talk more about that at 10 News and 5 and 6.
Talk about strong women. Karen Weekly, Joan Cronin, former assistant.
Robin Wilhoit.
Oh, no. Emily Ray Cochran. All right, Emily, thank you. And remember, you can catch Emily Ray's conversation with the coach of One Knox SC streaming right here on WBIR Plus. Up next on WBIR Plus, more election coverage. Hear from 3 people wanting to serve as your county commissioner in Knox County. And then right after that, Cassie Nall has a new weather recap. How the drought is only getting worse in some parts of East Tennessee and the wildfire situation playing out. Plus a look at the impact from the recent volcano eruption in Hawaii. All that and much more coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.